Welcome to Shonen Flop Shibby, First Impressions mini-episode where we talk about the first chapter of the series we'll be covering in depth next week with our guest, Roger DeLuigi. Roger DeMario was busy.
If I could say Roger DeLuigi did nothing wrong.
He was hanging out with me on that day, David.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been there. I'm Jordan, and with me today, as usual, is my lovely co-host, David. Say hi, David.
Hi, David.
What series we covering this week, David?
Well, I say it all the time. I think it's just easier. I think it's just, I feel let you say the name of the series, which is Koisome Momiji, which is not right, but it would have been great if I had gotten it.
Yeah, I would say it's more Koisome Momiji, so...
Always so coy with me, Momiji.
Koisome? I don't know.
Koisome.
Oh, like the fish.
Yeah. You know what's not fish here? The manga details, so let's get into it.
Yeah. So this was written by Sakamoto Tsugirou, and the art is by, whoa, David, it's by Miura?
What?
The Berserk guy? No, obviously it's by a guy named Miura Tadahiro.
Imagine if it was.
That would be amazing. This ran from May 7th, 2012 to November 19th, 2012. So, less than a year, but it got 33 chapters, 4 volumes.
Nice. And Jordan, let's hear what happened in the first chapter.
One day, while just hanging out, an insanely cute girl asks local high schooler Shouta to take a picture of her in front of a sunset. He immediately falls in love with her and tells his group of friends, who point out that he always chickens out with girls. Walking home that day, he sees the girl again, and his friends push him to go up to her by threatening embarrassment. His friend Umine actually threatens to go up to her and show her a picture that he took of him in a dress, which has for some reason. He goes up and asks her if he could have a copy of the photo he took of her, and the girl says that her name is Shinomiya Sana and she will bring the picture to him tomorrow. Shouta then goes home and watches the news talk about the new TV show that's going to be filmed in their area featuring a young lead actress whose name is Shinomiya Sana.
What?
But that's the girl. What?
Imagine if they just it wasn't, and it just was completely pointless, that detail.
She was just like, we have the same name. I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
but
actually, that kind of would have been a fun plot hook, right?
That would have been fun.
It's like Don, actually the part of the plot of the first episode, Don.
Oh, yeah. Oh, popcorn, David.
All right, the next day, Shouta goes to meet Sana at the train, and a bunch of guys are crowding her, so she uses him as an excuse to get away from them. She gives him the photo and asks if he'll go on a date with her in order to prep for her role, because she's never been on one before, even though she's so cute.
What?
She heard somewhere that people on dates hug each other, and so she asked Shouta to do so.
She just heard somewhere that, people on a date, they hug each other every now and then. That's a thing that happens, right? I just heard that as a rumor.
Yeah, she's like, yo, where my hug at?
Yeah.
And asks Shouta to do it, and he gets really embarrassed because he thinks she's cute. Sana laughs at him, and then a sudden gust of wind rushes by and flips her skirt up. Oh, this offer was really, really holding out till the end. Damn, I hate when that happens. And I'm not just talking about the upflip, I'm talking about when they sexualize teenagers in Shonen Jump. She gets mad because Shouta saw her panties, which causes the camera to fall off a cliff, and unfortunately she's a fucking moron, so she decides to go after it, leading to her falling off a cliff. Shouta then jumps off the cliff to catch her, and somehow they don't die. After realizing he saved her life, Sana just straight up asked Shouta to be her boyfriend. End of chapter 1.
Also, I forgot to include an important note, which is when Sana realizes that Shouta saw her panties, she slaps him because obviously it's his fault that the wind blew her skirt up.
It did get caught by the branch, by the way, so it wasn't like she just tried to jump after a falling camera.
Yeah.
What were your first impressions?
This feels like such wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
You know how harem manga are man, it sucked in school. I got no bitches. What if I had a bunch of hot girls who were into me? It's like that, where it's the premise is so thin for everything that happens.
I guess, I don't know, there's probably a documentary, but besides the child sexualization, this feels like a Disney TV show.
The whole thing where it's oh, do you want to go on a date with me? Ha ha! Just kidding. It's not really a date, It's just method acting. Actually, I'm not into anybody. And then it's the gust of wind blows her skirt up. She slaps him. It's just she acts like an idiot. She's an idiot. I'll just say it. She acts like a moron.
Yeah. A dumb Idol. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just imagining this is, we could do the cover art parody to be, instead of 100 girlfriends, it's just one girlfriend. That's the best idea I've had so far. Jordan, let me know if you think of something else.
Okay.
Did you keep watching that?
No, I ended up not doing
Good.
it.
For the best, probably.
Yeah, there was a moment afterwards where I was like, because we were talking about hate watching it. So I went up to Steph and I was like, hey, you want to watch 100 Girlfriends? She's like, I mean, I guess we could if you want to. And then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I don't want to.
And listeners, for context, we had to watch 100 Girlfriends for an episode of Anime Out of Context, which is out now if you want to check that out and see me try and defend this series, the Sean, Rem, and Jordan.
Oh, it's an awful series. It's a dreadful series and David's a bad person for liking it.
We knew I was a bad person. Anyway,
yeah.
I actually feel like the characters seem reasonable, like teenagers. Like, all of Shota's insecurities seem very reasonable. And I posted this in the Discord, and I'm just really surprised. He has a very strong support network of friends.
I was shocked to see this because, like, 99% of the time when you read a manga like this, it's the loner, the kid who's, like, the social outcast. No, Shouta has, like, a friend group, and they seem to like him. You know, like, Umine, who is, like, his, I forget if she's, like, the girl of the group or just one of them.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's refreshing that not every girl in this series is in love with the main character. I mean, you know, who knows what the fuck happens in the next 32 chapters with regards to that. But at least in this moment, it's like, no, she like pushes him to get with her. It's also like kind of thank God we don't go through so much shit where he just like puts it off.
I really do like how this isn't as tropey as you would think. Like, it's definitely very tropey, but while I was reading it, I was like, what is kind of making this feel different than this story, which has been told like 100 times, where it's like average boy has super girlfriend? And it really seems like it's just the fact that he has an actually existing social network of friends that are very supportive seems to be the differ, which actually, honestly, like, I kind of am not opposed to that being what makes the series feel kind of unique, you know?
I'm not opposed to that either. And like, I didn't mind that he was like nervous, you know?
Yeah, he acts like a completely normal teenager.
Yeah, I mean, he also does like jump off a cliff to save her, which, you know, give or take, you know, it's like,
besides that,
but that's also because she is a super moron. Like, it's just a camera. Were they taking photos? Did they make a big deal about the photos on the camera? Like, she already gave him the photo.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I do like how she was like, why do you want a photo of me? And she is legit like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. Hi, I'm an actress who's gonna be in a big movie. Why do you want a photo of me?
But she knew he didn't know that.
I mean, I guess.
Oh, speaking of, I love how their photo was the color page.
Yeah.
It's my favorite word, diegetic.
Also, I love how she just, like, emasculates him randomly. He just lets out that, like, he thinks that she's cute, and she's just like, oh, you're cute. It's like you're not even a boy. And it's like, what? What?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I like this first chapter. I can very easily see me hating this series in another 10 chapters. But for now, I like it. Jordan, what did you think of the actual art and the paneling? Because I feel like both were executed pretty well, even if they weren't, like, game-changing.
I thought they were, like, there. I thought they existed. Like, I think it was just, like, it was fine. I don't really have, like...
I mean, that's the whole series. The series just seems fine. It's not like this is going to be the best thing we ever read, but this seems a lot better than a lot of things we've read.
I mean, that's a really low bar?
It is a low bar.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just so jaded at this point.
Yeah, but that's what I mean is this feels like every terrible harem or romance manga we've read before, but it's just, there's something about it that makes me think maybe this won't be as bad. Like, maybe this won't be as bad as Harrisburg, you know, or Love Rush, or whatever other shit we've read.
I'm not getting that.
I don't know.
Aside from him having friends, there's really nothing here.
You do see his parents very quickly into it, any percent, which is one of our testaments that you never see their parents. Maybe I'm just desperate for a series not to be a certified flop.
No, this is like, what is it? What was that series? Like, was it Tenmaku Cinema? Where there was like that actress that he was like decided to make a movie out of?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, this feels like a less interesting Tenmaku Cinema to me, which is a brutal condemnation.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I also think the pacing of the first chapter was really slow, or again, it's like the first 20 pages probably could have been the first like 10.
Yeah.
And it's just, we'll see, Jordan. We're going to see what happens in One Girlfriend That Likes You as a cover story, you know? That's what I'm going to call this series right now.
Oh, God.
And as we alluded to, I would keep reading this. Jordan, you would not keep reading this.
I would not keep reading this.
All right. And what do you think happens next? Because you still have to read it contractually.
I do. I legally required to. I think that there's an actor who tries to compete for Sana's affection. Like maybe he's somebody who's like had his eye on Sana, and it's like, what? This no-name boy? Who the fuck
so it's Scott
is this?
Pilgrim.
Yeah, exactly.
We
like
already did Scott Pilgrim. We can't do it again.
Yeah, I think that Shouta is gonna be like a background character in the show. Like he'll be like an extra or something.
Yeah.
And I think that she's gonna kiss somebody in the show, like as a character, and it will make Shouta jealous.
I like those guesses.
Yeah, how about you?
I think Ume has a crush on the MC, though actually I want to change to say she doesn't.
That would be, I hope that she doesn't.
I feel the series will be much better if she is just a platonic friend.
Oh my God, please. Can guys and girls just be friends? Can that be a thing, please?
Exactly. And I think there's going to be some really dumb arc where they try and keep this relationship a secret.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he has to do some challenge to get Sana's family's approval. Probably her dad is some big, tough, like, Hollywood executive or whatever the Japanese version is.
Yeah.
And he's like, you think you're good enough? You got to prove it to me, kid. And he's probably smoking a cigar. And then there's like a tiny grandma, or there's like there's an 800-year-old grandpa or some shit, you know.
Who's like perverted and like a sex pest.
Yeah, and he'd be like, if you weren't my granddaughter.
Oh God. Hope not.
So much power.
Yeah. Thin, because this is a thin premise for their relationship to occur.
And mine is support, because homeboys got that social support. Don't we wish we all had that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Rachel always yells at me because I'm like, I have no friends. And she's like, David, how many people went to the movies with you? And I'm like, 17. And she's like, okay, David, why don't you say the no friend thing again? I'm like, okay. Well, it still wasn't 2 rows.
David, you have more friends than like anybody I've ever met.
Yeah. I may be the first person in history to have more friends at 30 than at 20.
Yeah.
It's quite the accomplishment. Did I tell you what someone said at my wedding?
What?
Where my friend said, oh man, I used to think David was my best friend because we would talk all the time. And then now that I've met more people at his wedding, I realize he's just like that with everyone.
Yeah, it's accurate.
It's true. What can I say? That's hence why I had like 80 people at my wedding.
Oh, God.
Anyway, along with people I love going to my wedding, I also love people that ask us questions. So shout out to people who drop their questions in the Shonen Flop Discord. As a reminder, our priority is given to those who are patrons, haven't asked a question before, or haven't had a question answered in a long time. Starting with Weeboob's Ash. Which failed manga series would make a great clothing line?
I kind of feel like Zip Man.
This is all zippers.
Yeah, no, like it could be like a Tetsuya Nomura-esque clothing line with like a shitload of zippers all over it.
I actually think that, whatchamacallit, Under Control, because he had some really great drip on those cover arts where he just kind of drew the characters as like fashion models.
Yeah.
Which is probably one of the best parts of that series was the cover art.
I mean, again, low-ass bar.
It's a very low, and well, we actually did say it wasn't a certified flop because the last 10 chapters was such a beautiful execution of the author not giving a fuck anymore.
Yeah, it was kind of,
and it just turned into Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
All right. So next up from Sandman, which cancel manga would have been better if it followed a different character?
God, I have to look at like a list because there were a couple where that was like really, really egregious and I just can't think of them.
I think the number one choice in my book is Mama Yu Yu.
Yeah!
Where we have said multiple times they should have just made a spinoff about, what was her name? Why am I spacing on her name?
Minerva.
It is Minerva.
Yeah!
I think that is the Eternus answer of what was the best character in the series that we thought was a flop.
I also was gonna say like my gut reaction was actually like Kako, but Kako is kind of the main character.
Her name is in the title of the series.
She gets top billing, so that's why I said that was my gut answer that I am not following.
They should take that Gang Orca character from Ozu and make his own series. Maybe something about like everyone being superpowered.
Yeah.
I don't think that would work.
That's why My Hero Academia, he's actually the main character of that, David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just thinking of Giant King, and I don't know why the name Giant King Muscle Wars.
Giant King Muscle Wars?
Yeah, it's just the title just popped into my head.
Oh, now we're getting into Kinnikuman territory.
Yeah, actually, Orpheus also isn't technically the main character of Hard-Boiled Cop and Dolphin.
So just make him the main character.
Orpheus Detective Files.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. We actually could just look at the floppies for Sora of the Year.
Mannequin Piss.
Oh yeah, Mannequin Piss.
Yeah, Mannequin Piss. Just follow Mannequin Piss. That would make the series
pissing on art.
Make the series 10 times better. Just by following him.
Remember the Dracula becomes a YouTuber in fucking Build King?
Yeah, follow him too. That's a way better series.
Because everyone's like, how do you shit upside down? And he makes YouTube content about it. That was, I think, the only thing we actually enjoyed about that series was that part.
Yeah. That was it.
I did have the idea Love Rush would have been a cool spin-off where he turns into like a Hitch character and he's like a matchmaker for all these monsters that get attracted to him. But that's still the main character, but that would have been fun.
That's a good way to like judo that power, where it's like, I can't date you, but like, let me find you someone else. Yeah. Oh, yeah. How about Champagne? How about have that weird like autistic angel girl do something? I mean, nothing could save that series. It was DOA, but still, it would probably be better.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones. Honestly, actually, it would have been fun for Sci Pirate Grandpa G if that guy, remember who only made like really shitty, stupid inventions? And it just was like a straight up gag manga about him.
Yeah.
All right. But I think that's
anyway.
The Grizzly Bear gets his own series.
Yeah, the Rizzly Bear. Give that to him.
Okay, Rizzly and Rizzler.
Yeah.
Oh, it's called R&R.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a perfect name for Service Force spinoff.
Yeah. 2 on Ice, make the girl the main character because she was just so much more interesting than he was, in that he was not even remotely interesting.
I still can't believe how everyone's like, you guys didn't talk about the molestation subplot of the villain. Like that, fuck, that's crazy. Now that people pointed out, like, holy shit, they're right, the main villain got molested.
It was implied. It wasn't like, if they had said it outright, we would have talked about it, but it was like an implied thing.
Yeah,
it's
Anyway, from Red Blade, if you could be an unnamed extra in any flop series, which would you pick?
Shit, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, so I'm just gonna say Candy Flurry because that's our go-to, and also not a bad answer.
How about Cool Shock BT, and you just get to see BT's tricks, which don't really work in real life.
I'm just trying to think, what is like the best world to live in of the manga that we've covered?
I mean, Greens, you would just be someone playing golf.
Yeah, but like...
Oh, Service Wars. That would be really cool to be an audience member during the service tournament.
Yeah.
That's my pick. That would be fun.
That'd be nice.
I mean, any of the sports manga, you literally can say, I'm in the audience watching them do the sport.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just trying to think if there's a world that's objectively better. And no, I
Teenage Renaissance David actually would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
To figure out what's going on with all the art kids.
Oh, wait, what about
Double Taisei?
Oh, okay.
We're like, oh shit, that's also a direct actual answer to the first question, because that one guy does make a clothing line in that world that's just like a bunch of umbrellas.
Oh, Nico Wappo would actually be fun. That's like a very fun antics universe.
Yeah.
Oh, they can make it about the gerbil guy commentator?
Yeah, it was like Gendo Ikari.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, pick one of those as our answer.
Yeah. Next up from Funky Green Overdrive. Which flop series had an amazing first arc?
Takeki
which had a
Ryusei.
terrible... Yeah, Tsukeke Ryusei. I mean, Earthchild, I think, had the biggest drop after the first chapter of any series covered in our show history.
A huge drop, but also I feel like Takeki Ryusei's opening arc was stronger. Like, I would rather read the manga that kept up Takeki Ryusei's energy, but you're right in that Earthchild had the biggest drop.
Yeah.
And then the second question is which one had a terrible first arc, implying that it got better.
Fabricate 100 definitely went from mediocre to probably one of the, like, I do not think you could have written a stronger ending to that series.
Yeah, I would say also Hard-Boiled Cop and Dolphin.
Oh, that had a terrible start.
That had a really bad start and then got really, really good. So I would actually go with that one.
Oh, how about Demon Splain where it just ends and there's no conclusion? Because we actually liked remember it was about this like cool class battle.
Yeah.
And then it just ended without resolving it. It just stopped.
I mean, there's also like Hunter's Guild Red Hood started off strong.
That actually started decent, got really bad, and then ended really interestingly.
Yeah.
That's definitely the most U-shaped plot quality we've ever read.
It's either that one or oh my god, I'm totally blanking on it. What's the one where they end up in Tokyo at the end?
Stealth Symphony.
Yeah, Stealth Symphony is, I think, the most U-shaped one, where it started very strong, had an abysmal middle section, and then it ended very strong.
Yeah, and then Yui Kamio, also really weird, had a really bad start, got pretty good, and then it fell apart again.
Yeah, that's like a hump series.
Yeah. Well, that one's weird. That one's like got a hump that's like very strangely placed because that's like 2/5 to the 3/5 part. So it's like bad for 10 chapters, good for 10 chapters, and then bad for 20 chapters.
Yeah.
It's not like in the middle when it's good. It's like weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, very thematic in these questions. It's pure coincidence. And then finally, I guess Redblade had another question. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to. One Piece retroactively adds a filler arc called Flop Island where the Straw Hats arrive on an island populated entirely by Shonen Flop series. Which series character becomes the Straw Hats' new friends and which are the villains? What is the villain's big plan and how does each Straw Hat contribute towards stopping them? So I assume for this question, since it's called Flop Island, what villain of a Shonen Flop manga or a manga covered by Shonen Flop would be interesting if they were added to the world of One Piece?
Well, first I gotta say that Luffy is absolutely hanging out with Noah from Golem Hearts.
Yeah, they're just gonna eat a ton.
Especially because Golem Hearts. Remember we read the Golem Hearts one shot and it was just trying to be Romance Dawn?
Yeah. Well, also, fucking, what was it? Gunblaze West is just One Piece.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be a fun where they just turn into cowboys.
Has there been like a straight up cowboy western One Piece arc? Because if not, that's kind of surprising.
There are characters based on cowboys.
Yeah,
but
it has to be.
I know there's actually a bounty hunter arc that I think they're cowboys, but I don't think there's canon really cowboy material.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to say that. Gunblaze West, Flop Island, they just kind of talk about everyone's a ripoff of One Piece.
Yeah.
They maintain all that. You know, we have the cool arc where they shoot Luffy with bullets and it doesn't work, you know, and he's like, I'll show you a pistol.
Maybe that's why there hasn't been a Western arc, because Luffy's power means that, like, it would be just completely a wash, because he just hard counters cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's my pick.
There we go.
Jordan, thank you so much for all your hard work on the show and making the cover art. I love you've been killing it week after week.
Oh, it's been a blast. And thank you so much for David for all the work that you do on the show.
No problem, babe. Thanks to Dylan for assistance with editing. You can find his podcast, Anime Out of Context, at animeoutofcontext.com. Thanks to Tucker and Maxie B for assistance with pronunciation, translation, other miscellaneous research. Find us on Blue Sky /X on Shonen Flop, Tumblr Shonen-Flop, and our website shonenflop.com. We're also on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever else you get your podcasts. As we talked about before, join the Shonen Flop Discord. It's open to everyone. You don't have to be a patron. Hang out with us and talk about anime, games, whatever else is on your mind. We even have a manga book club and movie nights. Find a link to it in the show notes or on our site, shonenflop.com. If you've been enjoying the podcast and want to help us keep going, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/shonenflop. Along with that warm and fuzzy feeling of helping us out, you also get access to monthly bonus episodes, including the Shonen Drop, where Jordan and I look back at the previous month's episode and open the mystery box. Jordan, what was our bonus episode this month, and what did we talk about in the mystery box?
Well, David, our bonus episode this month, we covered Gundragon Sigma with the legendary Mr. This Is Fine, Dick Butt himself, KC Green. And for the mystery box, well, we went over the 10 Shonen Flop commandments, which is fitting because happy Passover, David.
Oh, yeah. Happy Jewish Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it ends in like an hour or two.
What?
Sundown to sun up or whatever.
Isn't Passover 7 days, man?
Anyway.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay. My life is in shambles. My brain is dissolving by the minute.
Yep. And if that's not enough, other perks include picking a manga for us to cover on a main episode, episodes up to a week in advance, and behind-the-scenes content like warm-up audio or recording notes. I want to read off some of our wonderful patrons, starting with my wonderful wife in the Dolphin Dad tier, Rachel. She is off to Florida. I hope she has a fantastic time. I just sent her some dollars so she can treat her grandma to a nice, delicious lunch. Moving on down to our Ravioli tier, we found in our apartment a brain teaser dog toy. Ravioli has yet to figure out how it works, but she is having fun trying. We have Chris, Eva, Jeanette Davis, Justin Hefner, Matt, Scarlett, T, Tiffany, and Trevor Schechner. Moving on down to the King of the Forest, we have 090Z, Bandit Stoof,
my girlfriend,
Brad, follow AOC on Blue Sky, Ivan, John, Kirbyman, Marty, Riley, Sarah, and Sarah Hydra. Moving on down to our Galactic Ball Federation officers, we have a deep, sexy voice says relax, mid-sized sedan, Ages, Andrew, Andy, Angel, Aura, Biza, Blamamu, Brandon M, Cole, David, Dennis, Dingo, Don't Dox Me, Drago, Drew, Nigel, Fax, Flash Carbon, Funky Green, Jacob Andrew Jason, Keanu, King Salamander, Kino, Lay, Liam, Manly, my dad, Matt, Maxie, Mecha Scott, Mike, Obscure Reference. Got anything for us, Jordan?
Oh man, David, I can't wait to play my favorite game, Gorbino's Quest.
Ooh, I was thinking about The Princess and the Pea last week. There you go. I know, it's rare I have one I can toss in, right?
Is that an obscure reference? I feel like everybody has heard the story of the Princess of the Pea.
Maybe, I don't know. Listeners can say if they're familiar with Princess and the Pea. Resident Warhammer nerd, Saiva, Sean, I need you to okay. Silly Rookie, Simping for Senpai Ash, Sleepy, Staghorn Taper Clip, Tucker, Verity, Wright, and ZZ Digital, and a big thank you to our Beast Children as well.
Also, if you guys want to hear me say those names that David won't pronounce, you might have to sign up for the Patreon, because I actually say the fucking names that David is too scared to.
Fair enough.
Also, check out Mission Ignition, which is my podcast about vampires.
All right, but that's all the time we have for today. Tune in next Monday for our full episode on Koisome Momiji,
AKA Koisome Momiji. And we could both be pronouncing that wrong.
We could be both. And we're joined by Roger DeLuigi.
Or also Roger DeLuigi.
That's true. I don't know how to say things.
Roger DeLuigi.
Mamma mia.
And this has been Jordan.
This has been David.
You've been listening to Shonen Flop. David, say it.
Keep on floppers.
Bye.
Bye. Good soup.